I have a question by Damon, and it's a very good question, especially nowadays with generations coming forth and learning from their parents. Are children punished for the sins of their parents? Again, that question is, are children punished for the sins of their parents? No, they are not. There are about two scriptures that I have that are kind of very straightforward. The first one is in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 16. It says, fathers shall not be put to death for their sons, nor shall sons be put to death for their fathers. Everyone shall be put to death for his own sin alone. And the other one is in Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 20. And that says, the person whose sins will die, a son will not suffer the punishment for the father's guilt, nor will a father suffer the punishment for the son's guilt. The righteousness of the righteous will be upon himself, and the wickedness of the wicked will be upon himself. So we see that very straightforward. The child will not share the guilt. The righteousness of the righteous will be credited to them, and those who are wicked will be charged against them. Everyone is held accountable for what they do. I would like to go over to Exodus chapter 20. I think it's a good point to mention here in Exodus 20, verse 5 through 6. It says, you shall not worship them nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, inflicting the punishment of the fathers on the children on the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing favor to those, showing favor to thousands to those who love me and keep my commandments. So it's important that we teach our children about God and who he is, and to not stray away from that, because children they pay attention. I don't necessarily think you have to be a parent to know that we were all kids once, and we certainly do look up to our parents and mimic the things that they say, the things that they do, how they talk to their spouse. Do they follow through with the things that they say? Children mimic that. So we have to be mindful of how we speak in front of them. Because if they see us committing idolatry, if they see us being sexually immoral, if they see us participating in being alcoholics, they may follow suit. They see that that's what they learn. So we have to be mindful that we don't stray them away and follow down the path that we did. History kind of tells us that. We can look all over the world. When I was in high school, you can kind of tell a lot about students based on how they act, because they most likely getting that from their parents. But how we can rectify that, in Proverbs chapter 28, verse 13, it says, one who conceals his wrongdoings will not prosper, but one who confesses and abandons them will find compassion. So we must openly let our children know when we are wrong and admit when we're wrong, rather than having them see our wrongdoings and trying to hide it. Expose them. Let them know that, look, what I did was wrong, and apologize for it. And as you raise them up and they see you doing that, they will do the same thing as they get older as well. So no, children are not punished for the sins of their parents, but they certainly do observe very well. So let's do the best that we can to do good things, and hope and pray that our children will follow suit. So,
amen. I'll just add that while children aren't punished for the sins of their parents, the sins of their parents can absolutely have negative consequences on the kids. And that's not punishment from God. That's the result of humans making choices. And when humans make bad choices, lots of times there are bad consequences to those things. So, it certainly doesn't feel good for there to be, a child who has to deal with some severe hardships because of their parents' choices. That's not punishment for the child. That's just God gave us free will, and when we choose to do things that are wrong with that leash that He's given us, that doesn't sound like a good way to say that. But when He allows us to make our own choices, He lets us do that, and that we can hurt other people, including children, and we can make mistakes where the consequences reach generations, not just our children, but can have very long impact.